Welcome back. So Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic nominee for New York City mayor and the party's new poster boy, has a history of anti-Semitism, including this highly offensive video making fun of Hanukkah that he posted back in 2024. Yeah. Fox News reached out to Mamdani's campaign about the video, but has not heard back. And Mamdani's still catching heat for reportedly lying about his race on his college application. But that doesn't seem to bother the far left. They'll keep defending Mamdani, including House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who dodged the question last night.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams is attacking Mamdani over reports that he identified himself as African-American and Asian on college application. I mean, is this a real issue to you?
I think to me, the issue that we have to deal with in New York City, which our Democratic nominee did talk about extensively during the primary campaign, is affordability.
Kaylee, I seem to think that Mamdani's appeal is much like Gavin Newsom's. It's almost aside from policy. It has to do with his persona, how he carries himself, how he looks. He has some charisma. We talked about this last night, actually. And then some of those policies that he's putting out there are very appealing to a younger audience. We were talking about that earlier. What are your thoughts on it?
I think the charisma is a big part of it, especially for young voters my age. I think his social media appeal was a big part of it. I do think that the talk of affordability was also a big deal for younger voters in New York who might be struggling. Of course, I think they lack the political and life experience to understand that the solutions that he's putting forward are nothing but empty promises. But what's notable is that who did see through that? Actual working class New Yorkers. If you look at the demographic breakdown of the primary election, it showed that Black New Yorkers, Hispanic New Yorkers making under $50,000, they did not vote for Mamdani. They voted for Andrew Cuomo because they see through socialism as, the failure that it would be for this city.
Arthel, I understand there's been a push on the right. Curtis, I always say his name wrong. Sliwa. He came out on Fox and said, listen, don't talk about this race on the college application thing, talk about his policies. But when you go and make a video like that, which is essentially making fun of both a race and a religion, you kind of put yourself out there and you need to kind of walk a straight line. And I don't know that lying about your race is walking a straight line for a record.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And I think that, I think one of Mamdani's appeals is that, as you said, Kaylee, because he does, he knows how to use social media. And he has some sort of charisma that these young people are being galvanized by. But because you do understand how social media never goes away, you don't make a video like that. It's going to come back to haunt you, and it's inappropriate, quite frankly. But, listen, I think that I noticed that Minority Leader Jeffries didn't necessarily answer Mr. Sharpton's question, and I think that's where the Democrats are having some big problems. I think they need to offer Americans something to stand for and to be drawn to, as opposed to just telling them to run away from something that they say is not bad.
Joe, I know you've got something to say about this. Let me introduce this, and then you can double up here. While most Democrats hail Mamdani as their socialist savior, a few are worried this lurch to the far left could cost them in the midterms.
I was very surprised that he won. When you talk about, free childcare and free buses and all of this stuff, it's like free. It ain't gonna work. If you're the Democrats, and you hear me and hear me good, if you want a chance in the midterms, if you want a chance for the presidency, you better not lean far left the way that you did in 2024.
Right, Stephen A.
It will not work.
Yeah, it seems like there's fear among the Dems when they're already floating unhinged conspiracy theories about the 2026 election.
Do you worry about vote tampering in the midterms? Do you worry about Donald Trump and Stephen Miller and some of these types monkeying around with the midterms and the way we do elections in this country?
In a short word, yes. In the longer word, very. I don't put anything past him. Nothing. To try to call the election off, to do anything you can.
Yeah, it seems to me like they're worried about the midterms. They only hold a 2-point advantage in generic polling, and a drastic difference compared to the 7% lead they had ahead of the 2018 midterms. It's not just Congress where Republicans are surging. President Trump is winning over America. His approval rating is 10 points higher than it was in his first term. Conch, I've thrown a lot at you. Go where you want.
Okay. So if we're at a point where we get to 2026 in the midterms, and it is shown that Iran's nuclear facilities were obliterated, as many believe they were, and we have inflation in the 2% range, about where it is right now. The S&P just had its best month in many years. Consumer confidence at a 4-year high. Unemployment down around 4%. We have more job openings than we actually have people looking for jobs at this point. So if the economy continues to take off, especially after this big, beautiful bill, and we have peace and prosperity, to Arthel's point, then what are Democrats going to run on in terms of not so much Trump is bad, we're going to save democracy, but what are you going to offer up to the American people if the economy is going well and we have peace in the Middle East? I don't see where they go with this from here, especially when you have, how do you pronounce his name again? Sharpton called him Mamdani. He added 9 letters to the guy's name. It's remarkable. Yeah, Mamdani is the correct way. But again, if you're an anti-Semite, you're basically a communist. You want government-run supermarkets, free universal child care, free busing, the NYPD replaced by social workers, and abolishing ICE. If that defines the Democratic Party, they're going to have a lot of trouble winning in the midterms. That what works in New York will not work in many swing states. That's certainly for sure.
Kayleigh, I think what defines the Democratic Party right now is just simply being anti-Trump. And Joy Reid has put out another conspiracy theory. Let's hear it.
This is somebody who is behaving as an autocrat because they don't anymore believe. He said it during the election. I don't need your votes anymore. And he doesn't. I don't think Trump intends to leave office. I'm very clear about that. I think he intends to stay in office like Putin till he dies.
What do you think about that?
You just wonder if they ever get tired of this narrative, of these talking
Not
points.
at all.
Listen, I'm bullish on 2026. I understand the historical precedent. I know it's typically hard for the reigning party to keep going. But let me just say this. If there's one thing that the past couple of weeks have proven, it is never, ever, ever bet against the guy who has managed to fulfill just about every campaign promise that he made in the first 6 months since being back in office. And never, never overestimate a party that is caught in a death spiral of its own making, refusing to learn any lesson from the past 6 months. The Democrats are destroying themselves. Trump is doing everything that he promised, and voters are paying attention.
All right. Well, Arthel, anything?
No, I'm just going to say I'm going to defend Reverend Sharpton. It's an easy name to say, but when you come across a new name, that just can happen.
No,
you know, this is going to happen.
It's been in the news for 3 months.
Come on now, come on.
Mamdani, it's easy.
All
right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.